She might just bring you a blow-up doll.
Weren't you going to bring one in here to the studio?
Do you want one? I can bring one.
Well, you kept... I don't really want one, but
she's Armenian.
You did say you were going to bring one in
hairy
regardless.
Blow-up doll. That's okay.
Hairy armpits.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back with Frank B Kermit, author of From Loser to Seducer and Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. Ladies, does your man squash your inner vixen? When you ask him to repeat what you have just said to him, does he look at you like a deer caught in the headlights? Does he think that leaving the game on while you talk to him is a good idea? Is his favorite phrase, "Yes, dear, you are absolutely right"? Does wife or girlfriend mean boring and dull to him? Ladies, don't you wish that he knows what you mean when you ask him if you look fat? Then you need to buy him the book, Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. On sale now at franktalks.com.
From Loser to Seducer is the story of Frank B Kermit. This book marks the triumph of a nice guy over most of his inner demons. This includes going from being a loser to managing 5 lovers at the same time, his first Valentine's date with 2 women at the same time, and getting back the one that got away. Want to learn how you can change your life? Buy this book at franktalks.com.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the book, I'm a Man, That's My Job, The Philosophy of a Seducer. Ladies, have you ever wondered where all the real men have gone? Do you turn to your women friends because you cannot find a true man in your life? Do you want the man in your life to step up and know what it means to be a man that can make you feel like the woman that you are? Are you tired of mothering the men you date? Give these boys the gift of manhood. The book, I'm a Man, That's My Job, teaches men to create their own seduction persona, personal inner game, and how to take the lead in a relationship. Buy this book now at franktalks.com.
Here we're back. So you can tell we're in mid-conversation, and we're back here with Frank B Kermit.
I am relaunching the Frank Talks radio show, which is called Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Okay.
For the type of people that I would be interviewing on my show, sex workers, people who practice BDSM, swingers, and seducers, seduction instructors.
So Frank Talks will be frankly speaking on some of the fringe.
Absolutely. We're looking at timely taboo topics. I'm taking an honest, frank approach, and it'll be done with very respected and professional conduct. That's one of the things I guarantee to all my guests who I've interviewed in the past. I am not here to put them on the spot. I'm here to ask them some very honest and very direct questions, but in a respectful manner. I start off my every show with the same question: where were you born? And tell me about your upbringing. If there's ever something they don't want to talk about, they simply say no comment. I like to present people first and foremost as human beings. So even if we're talking to, let's say, a professional sex worker, a professional escort, if I can present that person who may be on the receiving end of a lot of prejudice and hatred, I present her as a human being first, then anybody who's listening might be thinking, hey, you know what? She's just like me. I could have been that person.
And that's it, is that, Mary that's sitting in the cubicle beside you, when she goes home and closes that door, you have no idea what Mary's up to. Everybody's got something in their closet, and it's about not judging people. I think you give them a forum to be open and honest, talk about their sexuality, and, it's a big city, we're grown-ups, why not? Go for it.
Another thing is that you'd be amazed how many women out there have worked in the sex industry that you would never know about, just to do things like put them through school. She's a university or college student. She's young. She's fairly attractive. She can't afford to pay off the student loans, and the debts are piling up, and the rent is due. Well, a couple of sessions a week, and she doesn't have that problem anymore. And there's no way that a lot of these women are going to be honest with their male partners, because a lot of their male partners can't handle it.
So you want to destigmatize?
I just want to be able to say that, look, that you want the information, here it is, and I'm asking the questions that everybody really wants to know. I'm asking the really tough questions and getting an honest answer. Why? Because they provide an environment where people can talk about that. One of the things I teach men is that you must learn to become a man who can handle truth. Because as long as you demonstrate you can handle a woman's truth, she'll be honest with you. And if you demonstrate you can't handle it, she will not tell you things. She'll even act like she's completely the opposite of what you think.
There must be a way of learning how to communicate that truth between men and women. So because
the only way, and this is what I teach men, learn to handle truth. If you're going to get angry or you're going to act like a little boy and you're going to pull a tantrum every time someone tells you something that you don't like to hear, that's an act of demonstrating you cannot handle truth. If, however, when a woman tells you something, you don't react negatively, or maybe you're even positive with her, and let's say she tells you something that you don't like, but you don't want to make her afraid of being honest with you. Tell her something like this. You know what? I'm not really sure that I agree with what you said, or I'm not really sure I'm comfortable with what you said, but I appreciate the fact you've just been honest with me. You would be amazed at how that opens the floodgates and all the truth comes out.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. Ladies, does your man squash your inner vixen? When you ask him to repeat what you have just said to him, does he look at you like a deer caught in the headlights? Does he think that leaving the game on while you talk to him is a good idea? Is his favorite phrase, "Yes, dear, you are absolutely right"? Does wife or girlfriend mean boring and dull to him? Ladies, don't you wish that he knows what you mean when you ask him if you look fat? Then you need to buy him the book, Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. On sale now at franktalks.com.